Live.
What's up, boys? We are back with our last bracketology video. I'm kind of bummed because I don't know why. I just had such a fun time
Yeah,
filming
man.
these, but we are here with our last bracketology video. Obviously, a lot changed over the weekend. I mean,
A
not a
lot
lot of
happened.
major games, but a lot of moving on seed lines. Obviously, we'll talk about Florida as a 1 seed. So, but yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And before we start, we will have an NFL free agency video tomorrow. Jack posted a
Yes.
short on it, but that is
It's getting
I got
crazy.
a
Jonas Falcons just got Mr. CTE himself.
yeah.
So it's been a weird day for him.
They also got Olamide Zaccheaus back on the Falcons, which
Oh, did they?
a fan favorite of mine. Come on now.
There you go.
Anyways, that'll be our video for tomorrow, and we'll also probably do a championship prediction of the Big 12 and whatnot. So
Yeah, we'll have a conference championship, conference tournament prediction video. Probably we'll find a time to do it.
yeah,
The next 2 days, these games, I don't think any of the teams really have a chance. Unless you want to look at like an SMU making a run in the ACC.
yeah,
I don't really see that happening, but I would say that's probably one of the only teams that have a legitimate chance. So
yeah. So
just me.
we might discuss it. We might not. We'll see how the first couple games go for tomorrow because that's
Yeah.
when the big tournaments start. So
Yeah. Do all
let
the big ones tomorrow start? I know Big Ten starts tomorrow night.
yeah.
Yeah.
Penn State plays tomorrow night
Oh
against.
God. Penn State plays who they play? Rutgers?
I think
Minnesota?
so,
No, I
yeah.
play Minnesota. No, Rutgers. They're playing Rutgers.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Summit
Hmm.
League just got over too.
Yeah. How was that?
It was. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought I regretted going, bro, because like it's women's basketball, but like it was actually kind of insane.
Yeah, I was watching on my phone at the Y ball game.
Like
So
there was at least like 25,000 fans, bro. It was wild.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, I was watching. I watched that, and then I watched a little bit of the men's game last night too, which that was also a pretty good game for
Yep.
the first half or whatever. But
All right.
what's good, chat?
Let's get
We're
into
just
it.
getting into it now. Officially,
So
we just yapped for 3 minutes about nothing. So we're getting into it now.
so you want to start off with the 1 seeds or do I
Yeah,
got it?
I
All
can
right.
start off here.
All right.
My top four overall seeds for March Madness. My last time giving my 1 seeds. Um, this shouldn't change. I think this is what it should be. This is what it probably will be, unless something crazy happens. My top overall seed for the March Madness will be the Duke Blue Devils. They just continue to be dominant. They took down North Carolina this last weekend, and are probably going to win the ACC fairly easily. It's looking like they're going to have another game against North Carolina if North Carolina doesn't sell. But Duke will probably get another game against UNC, which those games are always interesting. So I think that game is probably the one to look out for in the ACC tournament is a Duke North Carolina rematch.
Yeah.
So
We got a
Duke
Kentucky
top
fan
overall
in
seed.
here. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna talk about Kentucky probably sometime.
It'll be a bit. It'll be like
It'll
probably
be a
30,
little while.
45 minutes.
Yeah. So come back in 30 to 45 minutes, I guess, or you can stay and watch the whole thing because that's a peak. My next number one overall seed is going to go to the Michigan Wolverines. They have showed no signs of slowing down. I don't count that loss to Duke as a slowing down loss. I mean, it's the top two teams, in my opinion, going head to head. And I just think that they are a really good team. Obviously, the Big Ten is a weird conference. They're probably going to have to play. Who's the four? Illinois. Probably going to have to get past Illinois and either Nebraska or Michigan State 2 days in a row. So we're going to see. We're going to find out if Michigan can win these things consistently on back-to-back days. So Michigan's my number 2 overall 1 seed. My next 1 seed is going to go to Arizona. Arizona continues to just ball out. I mean, they won this regular season title for the Big 12 this last week. Um, they're not slowing down, and they just continue to play really, really well. So I think they're one of the more dangerous teams in the tournament. And who knows? I don't think who I think they should be the a 1 seed no matter what happens in the Big 12 tournament, because the Big 12 is just really, really good and anything can happen. So, but they've been the best team in the Big 12 all season long. So I think that they are deserving of that. Now,
Yeah,
my last 1 seed is going to go to the Florida Gators. They continue to just win in the SEC. The SEC is an interesting conference. They obviously have been good, not great this whole season, but Florida continues to be the top of the conference. They obviously are looking to repeat this year, looking to go 1 seed again. I don't really see any team slowing down Florida in the tournament other than Alabama's offense or a sneaky team like Arkansas or Tennessee or Vanderbilt. But Florida is definitely is a good team. But I would say they're most definitely the weakest 1 seed out of all of these
yeah.
teams.
All right. So I'm just gonna say we got our one seeds a little bit different, but we all got the same four teams to start it off. I obviously got Duke. I have high expectations for Duke. I mean, the only thing that I don't like about Duke is they don't have a second big man, but other than that, they are an elite team. So not else needs to be said. They're obviously the best team in Ken Palm. Play great defense, shoot the three ball. They do pretty much everything well. So moving on to my second 1 seed, I have Arizona over Michigan. Now Arizona has been very dominant lately. They've been kicking the crap out of pretty much everybody they've played, and outside that loss to Kansas, which is like 2 weeks ago, that honestly kind of felt like forever ago. They've pretty much been unstoppable. So Koa Pete, Jaden Bradley, and Braden Burries are a scary trio. So that's all I got to say on that. And so that brings me to my third 1 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. It's kind of weird because Michigan is honestly playing worse, in my opinion. They played in a really close game in Michigan State, which I'm not really high on Michigan State. I don't know why, but they also played in a really close game to Iowa, which Iowa is going to be like a 7 seed this year. So Michigan, a good team, but they've been playing in a lot of close games lately. Granted, they were against good competition, but I mean, Arizona's just been way more dominant than them.
Yeah.
So moving on to my last 1 seed, it's the Florida Gators. Now the Florida Gators, I'm not honestly, I'm not very high on them winning a national championship. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
They can't shoot the three ball really well. They don't have great guards, but they have a really good front court in Thomas Hawk and Alex Condon. So they're a 1 seed, definitely for sure. Now, I don't know if they can win a championship. That's another question. Which teams do you guys think will get blown out in the first round? I got a few, man. Let's start it off with St. Louis. I think St. Louis is getting beat by a lot in the first round.
Yeah. If
So St.
they get a
Louis is
bad
not a good
matchup,
team.
that's not going to be good.
If they play TCU, they're getting built by TCU. So
They'll
I
probably get
also
built by
think,
anybody.
yeah, I also think that Louisville,
Yeah, Louisville's not a
maybe
good team
maybe a
either.
hot take, but
No.
Louisville is probably going to be a 6 seed. I think they're probably guaranteed to lose to an 11 seed because Louisville, while they beat Miami a couple days ago, that was their only ranked win, at least I think, in the whole season. So Louisville is really bad. St. Louis is really bad. I got quite a few more, but those are just the two that come to my head. So there's my 1 seeds.
Okay. Moving on to my 2 seeds. My top overall 2 seed's going to go to Houston. Now, Houston obviously was really high on them most of the season. They obviously had that little skid there, but they won the games that they were supposed to. But they almost they were down quite a bit to Oklahoma State. No disrespect to Oklahoma State, but they're not good. They're really bad. And that's a little concerning to me. Houston might be a team to look out for on upset watch. I don't know if that's hot or not, but they played close against Oklahoma State, who is not a good team, who will not make the tournament most likely. And I just don't like Oklahoma State, but Houston, they obviously have the good wins. But they're still one of the top teams in the country in Ken Palm as well. So I have them as my top 2 seed. Now my next 2 seed is going to go to Illinois. Um, I'm going to be honest, this team's really weird. They played a close game against Maryland, who Maryland is not really good at all. But the Big Ten. Illinois, I feel like we'll learn everything we need to do, everything we need to know about them this week in Chicago, and we'll find out if they're legit or not. We'll see if they get shellacked by Michigan again. Um, I don't see them doing anything. If they're able to take down Michigan, who knows? Anything's possible for this team. So we're going to learn a lot about the Fighting Illini this week. So moving on to my next 2 seed is going to go to UConn. UConn, I was pretty high on them 3/4 of the season, and then they got shellacked um, fairly early, or a couple weeks ago, and then they lost again to Marquette. So obviously that's really embarrassing. Marquette is not the Marquette that they've been in the past. So I don't think that they're very good. A little bit overrated, and probably I'll say this: if I think any 2 seed has a probability of losing in the first round to a 15 seed, it's probably UConn. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think that they've proven to kind of sell the bag recently. Now going to my last 2 seed, I have Virginia. Virginia is playing well. They're playing. They're just playing good basketball. They're locked up in the 2 seed for the ACC tournament. I believe, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So I expect them to make the ACC championship game. Um, if they win, obviously they should be in this 2 seed probably. Uh, People are really downplaying that the Duke loss. Like, it's a Duke. They're on another level right now.
Hmm.
But I really like this Virginia team. This team has something in them, and I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people because I don't think no one's talking about Virginia right now.
Yep. All right. So my first 2 seed. This is where honestly, there's going to be a couple teams that you might be shocked they're not on here. So
Okay.
moving on to my first 2 seed, I am going to go ahead and say Houston. I completely agree with you. Houston, while they've been not the same team as they were, let's just put it at that, still really good in Ken Palm, and they still have the 3 best guards in the country in Miles Uzan and, oh, this is bad, Kingston Flemings and Emmanuel Sharp. So great guards, and guards win March. That's really bottom line for Houston. So they're a weird team, but they're still very good. Moving on to my second 2 seed, it's going to be the Michigan State Spartans. Now, I said I don't like them, but that doesn't change the fact that they've been winning a lot of games lately. They obviously played a really close game in Michigan, and besides that, they won their past 5 in a row. So against really good teams too, UCLA, Ohio State, and Purdue. So I really love Michigan State. I mean, I don't know how I feel about them in the tournament, but I like them at the moment. Jeremy Fears, I don't know if he can maintain a consistent offense, but we'll see.
He can
Obviously,
sure continue to kick people in certain areas though. He
yeah,
can he can keep doing
yeah,
that.
definitely. But they have a great defense. Offense is a different question. So they're very matchup dependent, in my opinion. But I got to respect them because they've been on a tear lately. So moving on to my third 2 seed, or my third 2 seed. It's the Virginia Cavaliers. Now we're both on the same page. We both love Virginia, and Virginia has won how many games in a row? One, two, three, four,
They
five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
if
11.
you're
11 out
if
of their
you're
last 12 games. They
yeah,
won the
they
last
didn't
11 out of
lose
12 games.
their only loss in February was Duke, and
Yep.
that's a good loss. So
So besides Duke, they haven't lost a game since December, early January. Like, this team is really good. They're very underrated. I don't know if they'll get a 2 seed. They're probably going to get a 3 seed, but I mean, they're the second best team in the ACC. and you got to give them respect
Yeah.
towards that. So very good team, very good in Ken Palm. I love them. So moving on to my last two seed. Now this is where it gets controversial. I could say Illinois, could say Nebraska. I'm not going to mention the teams that are ranked 6 and 7. No pun intended, but I really like Illinois. I'm just going to say Illinois is my last two seed. I think, like you said, they're a very weird team. Their offense is definitely legit. Their defense, maybe a different story. But, I mean, they got Keaton Wagler, so he's very,
Yeah.
very good. So, I mean, as long as you have great guards, like I said, you'll go far in March. That's kind of where I'm at. And Illinois has one of the best guards in the country. So I think they could be definitely upset early, but I think they could win it all, honestly. So they have a very low floor and a very high ceiling. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where they fall.
Me as well. I'm gonna break this. Oh, just kidding. I thought United States was about to hit a home run. They didn't. Um, okay, three seeds. My top overall three seed is gonna go to Michigan State. They kind of had a rough February, which is why they're here for me. They've been a three seed for me like most of this time. Um, most of the times we've been doing these bracketologies, I can see why people have them as a two seed, but I just think that there are better teams than them out there. Um, they can beat anybody, but they can also lose to anybody.
It's
Um,
true.
I don't know what to think of them. They always have a habit of just losing in the Sweet 16 or the round of 32, wherever you want to name it.
Yeah.
They're just unpredictable. So I have them there. My next three seed is going to go to my Nebraska Cornhuskers. Obviously, they got an embarrassing belt by UCLA last week, uh, which was embarrassing, and nobody likes to see that. But they had a really good win yesterday against Iowa at home to end off the regular season. And I still have them as a three seed. I was planning on dropping them to a four seed, but seeing how other teams were losing as well, Nebraska's win against Iowa in overtime yesterday was able to propel them back up to a three. For me, I feel like in most bracketologies they're a three as well right now. But that defense continues to play extremely well. And the offense is not great, but what we saw yesterday is that they can score when they need to. Kale Jacobson did not miss a shot the entire game. He scored 15 points and hit two big threes at the end of the game there. So if everyone gets involved in that Nebraska offense, they're a scary team to look out for and to play against. Now, my next three seed is going to go to Iowa State. Iowa State, I think I had them. Did I have them as a one seed? No, I had them as my top two seed about 2 weeks ago. Um, they had not done very well since I said that. So they're just a weird team, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, they are not helping themselves out. They're not winning the games that they need to be winning right now. I don't know what seed they are in the Big 12 tournament as of now. I'm gonna look it up really quick, but I will say Iowa State has definitely been one of the more disappointing teams in the last couple of weeks. Um, I just I don't know. They're tough to watch. They're not hitting their shots. That game against Arizona, they scored like 5 points in the first 10 minutes of the game, which is absolutely brutal. So Iowa State is not playing very well at all right now. Um, Here, let me find them. I had them Big 12. So they dropped to the five seed in the Big 12. And
That's
they're not playing.
embarrassing.
Yeah, they're not playing where they need to be at right now. Um, they're playing their worst at the worst time. So Iowa State could continue to slide, especially if they get a team like UCF, Cincinnati, or BYU. Um, in the tournament early on. So not liking what Iowa State's doing right now.
Yeah, agreed.
And my last 3 seed is going to go to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, Alabama, we said that they just keep winning, and that's true. And then they lost the game, but every team loses. And you look at a team like Georgia, and Georgia is making a push for March right now. They're playing desperate, and they were at home. So I'm still liking Alabama. They have the bye to the quarterfinals already for the SEC. They've got a really terrific offense, not a terrific defense, but I think that they're a team to look out for, especially if they get a bad defensive team. Um, but if they have to play against a good offense, they're going to have to lock in and make some defensive stops when they actually need to. So those are my
Yeah,
3 seeds.
yeah. All right, it's time for my 3 seeds now to start it off. Who do I want to say here? I'm gonna say Nebraska is my first 3 seed. Now, Nebraska honestly showed me a lot against that Iowa game on Sunday. I was watching it most of the second half at least, and I was sitting on my phone with 2 minutes left, and I'm like, they're gonna blow them out of the water. It's like they're up like by what 12 with 2 minutes left, and I looked up again, and they were down by 3, and then that Iowa player made that really impressive 3-pointer, but they got the job done. And like Bryce Sanford, they say at the end of that they don't want to that they weren't going to lose that game to Iowa. Was
Yeah,
that Bryce Sanford speaking?
that
That
was
was Bryce
Hoiberg. Hoiberg said that.
Hoiberg. Yep, and that showed a lot to me about them, man. I mean, they in big games. I mean, as of lately, they stood up to the task. So beating Iowa
Yeah.
obviously is something they haven't done in a while, and I got to give them a lot of credit for getting the job done. So obviously, they lost to UCLA, but for the most part, they've been consistent. So
And UCLA
interesting
is playing
team.
great basketball right now.
Yeah, I like UCLA. Interesting team. I have them really high because these other teams are just not very great. So moving on to my third or my second, third seed. Man, I don't know. A lot of mid teams here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
man.
ahead and
It's
say Arkansas. Now,
okay. Okay.
it's interesting, maybe interesting, but obviously, as you guys know, I think Arkansas is the second best team in the SEC. I obviously don't like Bama. I'm an Arkansas guy, and as of lately, they've been really good. After that Florida loss, they've beaten Texas and Missouri, who are two very, very good teams. I don't care if they're both on the bubble; they're very good. They beat both of them by combined 24 points, so they both handled them single-handedly. Obviously, Arkansas has Darius Acuff, very good player. I don't know if they're getting Carter Knox back for a tournament. Hopefully they do. He's a big part of their team, but they've been playing good lately. So obviously that loss to Florida is not ideal, but these 3 seeds are just very, very weird, and they've been a little bit consistent as of late. So they're rising a lot in today's video for me. So that brings me to my third seed, which I'll go ahead and say Bama. I mean, like you said, Bama doesn't have a great defense. Bama lacks a lot of things, but they've been winning games a lot. And like you said, Georgia has been playing out of their minds. I really respect Georgia. And not much else needs to be said about this team. They're playing the best basketball at the best time possible, and they're obviously very hot. So, and they beat Auburn, which is their biggest rival by a decent amount, which
Yeah, and
usually that goes a long ways in my opinion too. So,
and that to me knocks out Auburn from doing anything. They should. The
they're
fact that
still the
they're
last
still
team
being
in.
in the fact that they're still being talked about is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
The fact that people are considering them over Miami, Ohio is just insane.
Yeah. That brings me to my last 4 seed. I mean, which all these teams are very cold right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and say Iowa State is my last third seed. I honestly
I
think
noticed
they'll end up.
you haven't said UConn yet.
No, absolutely not. Iowa State, though, they're obviously playing really bad basketball. I think they'll actually end up being a third seed when it's all said and done. I think they'll get bounced early in the Big 12 tournament, but I'm having them this high because of talent. I mean, they have a ton of talent. Taman Lipsey, Milan Musinovic, Joshua Jefferson. I mean, they got talent. So obviously, they beat Arizona State, a pretty big win for them. Arizona State's an interesting team, in my opinion. Not a tournament team, but a weird team at that. So Iowa State, I mean, has a very low floor and a very high ceiling. I'm just going to say that I still think they're going to continue to drop. So I don't know where I'm really at with them, but a 3 seed is fair in my opinion.
Okay. Moving on to the 4 seeds. I'm going with Arkansas. I've been high on Darius Acuff and the Razorbacks. They're just playing. They're playing well. They're a dangerous team, and I feel like everyone's just expecting this team to just get knocked out in the round of 32 because Coach Cal's coaching them. And honestly, they might be right, but this team to me just feels different. They got Darius Acuff, who I think is a top 3 player in college basketball, and he's just a stud. And that's to me that you have a stud guard like that, um, you can go anywhere. So I think Arkansas is a really really good team, and the sky's the limit for them. Honestly, they can be a dangerous team. Um, Quick little breaking news segment here from the NFL. Um, there are questions if Alvin Kamara will be leaving the Saints. So that's something to talk about tomorrow um, on there since Travis Etienne just signed with the Saints. So there's that, I guess. Moving on to my next 4 seed is the Purdue Boilermakers. And I'll tell you this, there's no team colder right now than Purdue. They're playing the worst basketball like ever. They've lost 3 in a row. And they have to play on, when do they play? Do they play on Wednesday already? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
play on Wednesday already. And they're ranked, which is not good. So Purdue is playing terrible basketball. Maybe they can figure it out, but if the seeds project the way that they're supposed to, they'll get a rematch with Nebraska on Thursday, who they beat already in the season. So Purdue desperately needs to win these games. Um, Otherwise, no one's going to be picking them to do freaking anything. Now, moving on to my next 3 is going to go to Gonzaga. Gonzaga is, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what Gonzaga is doing. I don't pay attention. They got a game tonight, conference tournament game tonight. So there's that. Um, but like, let me see, where are they? They're 10 in Ken Palm, but their offense is 29th, and they have the 10th defense. They're 28 and 3. They're really an unproven team to me still. I don't know what to expect from them. So Gonzaga is a team where they're probably going to win a game or two. Um, but other than that, like, I'm not really expecting much from this team at all. Um, they make it to the Final Four. That's cool. They lose in the first round. Wouldn't be too surprising. So Gonzaga, weird team. Don't know what to expect from them. My last 4 seed is going to go to Texas Tech. Texas Tech beat Iowa State and completely forgot how to play basketball. They lost to TCU, who is not a bad team at all, but come on. You got to win these games in March now. And they lost to BYU. Now, BYU is bringing some energy, and they're playing probably some of their best basketball as of right now. But Texas Tech, we gave them all the praise last week, and then we both had them as 2 seeds. They dropped 2 spots for me. I don't know if they're going to be a 4 for you or not, but I don't know. TCU or Texas Tech isn't looking the same without Toppin right now.
Yeah.
So they're a team to look out for an upset as well, I think.
Yeah. All right, to kick it off with my 4 seeds, I hate doing this. I really do, but I gotta say UConn. UConn is a team that going into the season I haven't been high on. I'm still not very high on,
Yeah,
but they're 6th in the AP poll, and these teams below them are just not are way too inconsistent. So UConn has been consistent besides Creighton and Marquette all season long. St. John's, they split with them, so I'm cool with that. But UConn obviously has Terrace Reed, obviously has Solo Ball, obviously is a great defensive team, but their offense is what gets me. I mean, 62 points in a tournament game is just not gonna cut it, in my opinion. You got to be at least a 70 mark if you want to win in the in March Madness. So UConn's offense is not very ideal, but they're weird. So moving on to my second, fourth seed. This may be a hot take, and this is today's biggest riser by a long shot. But I have St. Mary's. I mean, St.
interesting.
Mary's like has how many games have they won in a row? Two, three, four, five, six. They've won their last 8 games in a row. They've beaten the 2 best teams along the way in the WCC. They beat Santa Clara by 20. They've also beat Gonzaga by 11. This team, out in my opinion, is the best in the WCC, and they are one of the biggest sleepers in March Madness besides Virginia. So their defense is elite. They're a well coached team. I mean, look out is all I got to say. They're always a sleeper every year in March Madness. So
Yeah,
that's that.
I agree.
Moving on to my third, fourth seed. Since I say St. Mary's, I gotta say Gonzaga. Now Gonzaga obviously lost to St. Mary's like a couple days ago, but they're still fine. I mean, obviously they only have 3 losses, so I can't really definitively say they're garbage, but they don't have
Yeah,
Braden Huff, but Graham Ike has been playing some good basketball. He's averaging 20 points a game for them. And they're just a really weird team, like you said. I could see them making the Final Four. I could see them losing in the first round. So a 4 seed is probably where they're going to be at in the tournament. And I just like that spot. I don't know. And so moving on to my last 4 seed, and there's a couple of these teams I haven't been keeping up with lately. I'm gonna go ahead and say Texas Tech. Texas Tech obviously has not been playing some good basketballs lately, but they're not nearly as cold as some of the other teams. And like you said, TCU and BYU are very good basketball teams, especially TCU. I could be any more high on TCU at the moment. So they obviously forgot how to play basketball against Iowa State, but I mean they get a chance to potentially rematch them in the Big 12 tournament. So
yeah,
I like Texas Tech. I just think that they're not what they once were, obviously, but still a very solid team nonetheless.
okay. Moving on to my 5 seeds here. My top overall 5 seed is going to go to St. John's. St. John's is not playing the greatest right now, and Aaron Judge just cranked a 2-run home run for the United States. The United States leads 2-0. Let's go. Okay. St. John's is not playing the greatest, um, but they still have the top seed in the Big East. So we'll see if they can take advantage of that or not. If they do, that's fantastic. If they don't, it's probably not good either. The last thing they want to do is to lose by like 30 on national television against UConn. So St. John's, it's got to figure it out. They got to figure it out fast. My next 5 seed is going to go to North Carolina. North Carolina obviously has lost Caleb Wilson the rest of the season, which is too bad for them. Um, I know Jonah's probably happy about that, but um, doesn't have to deal with him anymore. Um, but North Carolina, I mean, they're not playing terrible as of right now. They finish off the regular season strong, other than the loss to Duke. But Duke hasn't lost at home, so a tough place to play. But I think this team is a weird team. They could definitely lose in the first round just because of how unpredictable they are. They had that close game there with Louisville a couple weeks ago, so they're just a hard team to predict. Now, my next five is going to go to Vanderbilt. I have not been high on Vanderbilt at all. Um, I told John I wouldn't be surprised if they lose in the first round. So I will say, um, I told Jonah last week, I think I needed to see Vanderbilt win a ranked game for me to do something. They beat a ranked team. They beat Tennessee. Tennessee's a really underrated good team in the
On their home
SEC.
court too, on the
Yeah,
road.
on the home court. So they split with them. So that's a really good win for them. I'm really interested to see how they can do in come and SEC tournament because I don't know what seed they are. I wish I could have all of the brackets right in front of me, but I don't. I probably should do that. But um, interesting to see um, how they continue to play there.
Yep.
Which brings me to the team that they just beat, Tennessee. Tennessee is not a bad team at all. I'm still liking Tennessee. They obviously, the reason why they lost to Vanderbilt was because they started stinky on offense. They started down like 11-2 or something in that game at home, which is just unacceptable. So I just think Tennessee is a good team still, and has to win some SEC tournament games here if they want to um, continue to keep going in the tournament. So
Yeah. All right. For my 5 seeds, I'm actually going to mention the same teams you just mentioned. I'm going to start off with Vanderbilt. Obviously, Vanderbilt. I'm super high on, as you guys know, but they got the job done, to say the least. And they've won their last 2 games. Granted, it was a combined, how many points is this? 7 points. But I mean, we'll see what they're made of in the tournament. That's all I got on Vanderbilt. Obviously, Tyler Tanner is the most underappreciated player in college basketball. It's not even up for debate. He's very good. So brings me to Tennessee. And these 2 teams obviously are pretty much identical as the rankings when they go against each other. Their their point differential is 0 against each team. Tennessee won against Vanderbilt by 4 points, and Vanderbilt beat Tennessee by 4 points. So both teams' points differential 0. So they're basically equally as good, if you want to say that. Tennessee obviously is the only team on the poll to have double-digit losses. 10 losses is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but they've had a really hard schedule. Let's not take that for granted. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the tournament. I'm kind of curious, but they're still on the poll for now, and they'll probably keep rising, in my opinion. So probably like a 6 seed come tournament time, but I have them as a 5 seed. So
yeah,
that brings me to my third 5 seed. You might not like this one, but I'm going to say Wisconsin. I'm
okay,
I don't know where I stand on Wisconsin. Think that they're obviously capable of beating any team, but also capable of losing to any team. We said this a million times, but they just beat Purdue. So Purdue obviously is not playing great basketball, but they beat them in the Mackey, which the Mackey is one of the hardest environments to play in college
yeah,
basketball.
frick.
Wisconsin has won their last 3 games. They're getting
Roman
hot at the right
Anthony,
time.
Roman Anthony 3-run home run.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Now, the only thing I have against Wisconsin is that loss to Ohio State by 17, but
Yeah,
they're very weird. I could definitely see them potentially in a national championship game. That may sound crazy, but they have
it's not
the win.
ridiculous to
They
say
have the
that.
wins to show for it. So
Yeah,
moving on to my last 5 seed. All these teams correlate to each other, at least in my opinion. So it's Purdue and Wisconsin kind of correlate. Tennessee and Vanderbilt correlate. So I think it's fitting to have Purdue as my last 5 seed. Purdue is going to be a 4 seed come tournament time if they don't lose against UCLA. I don't even know who they play, but anyways, they don't have a double bye. They play it in the 16. So They obviously lost a lot of games lately. They're obviously really cold, but Braden Smith just surpassed 1,000 assists. He's very good, and I have no doubt in my mind that they'll win a game or two come tournament time, and Braden Smith will get the team in shape. So that's
Yeah.
all I got
Yeah.
for my fives.
Yeah. Going to the 6 seeds here. I don't like it, but my top overall 6 seed is going to go to Kansas. I don't like Kansas. They're they still have Darren Peterson playing. Um, they I don't even know what have they been doing as of recently. I don't even know.
They beat
Um,
Kansas State.
oh, that's
That's it.
impressive. That's impressive.
They beat him
Um,
by 40, though. They beat him by 40.
oh, oh. Well, they beat the second worst team in the Big 12, so I guess they can get a cookie or something if they want one. But they're playing Thursday in the quarterfinals. Um, but I don't really understand this team. Um, this team has a lot of skill, but they have Darren Peterson, and he's a really skilled player. Don't get me wrong, but he is not a great team player at all. So I'm interested to see how this Kansas team will handle playing him minutes wise.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he does any load management in the tournament. So that'll be funny if that happens. But anyway, Kansas as my top six. My next 6 seed is going to go to Wisconsin. I'm really liking this Wisconsin team right now. They're playing really well. Knocking down Purdue like that on the road is no easy task. So I expect them to potentially do something crazy in the Big Ten tournament. They might get a rematch with Michigan again. So we'll see how that one plays out. But Wisconsin as my next six. After them is going to go to Miami Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, we've kind of been glazing, but they're not helping their case. I mean, hold on.
They
Where's
lost to
Miami at?
Louisville.
They lost to Louisville, and Louisville is up next for me. And I put Miami over Louisville just because I just couldn't. Um, I just don't think Louisville's a good team. Louisville won a game. Congratulations. It's the first time they won a game in a long time. So I guess Miami, Louisville next to each other. That's who I have for my final two 6 seeds. Um, Miami, I mean, if they don't do anything in the ACC tournament, I'll swallow my pride and say I was wrong on predicting them doing anything special. But Louisville, they're not going to do anything special. So, and they're
Yeah.
back in the polls again. So
I don't know why they keep going on the polls,
it's
bro. They're not
terrible.
a poll worthy team, but
It's a
get
joke.
TCU and I'm over them, man.
Yeah.
But to start it off with my 6 seeds, spoiler alert, there's going to be quite a few ACC teams on here. I'm going to start with Kansas. Kansas, I'm not high on them. They have a bad offense. Let's just say that. They're 53rd in offense. Defense is good. They're just a really weird team. They're going to make or break your bracket. I'm going to say they break it, but I know there's people that think they're going to make it really far, but I haven't seen it in this team. I just see it as a team that's been very similar to the Hunter Dickinson era as they blow a lot of games. So, I mean, thankfully they don't have Hunter Dickinson anymore. Hunter Dickinson kind of screwed the team over. I'm not gonna lie. He only blowed big games with them, but that's all I got with Kansas. Moving on to my second 6 seed. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Tar Heels. Now, North Carolina is without Caleb Wilson. They're playing bad basketball. They just got beat by Duke by quite a bit, but only a 15-point loss. Pretty decent. They get a double bye in the ACC. They've won. How many games have they won? Last 4 out of 5. They're all right. Nothing special. I don't know. I really don't know where this team's going to go in March. I could see them going a variety of different ways,
Yeah.
but I don't see them going very far, to say the least. At least Final Four type far. So that's that. So that brings me to my second to last 6 seed. I got to say Miami. Now, I can't put Louisville over Miami, similar to you. I just don't know why, but I just hate Louisville. Louisville
we
hasn't
just
done
we
anything.
must just have something against Louisville, bro.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's honestly fair because this is their first
Yeah,
ranked win all season. Like,
that's true.
at least if I'm reading it correctly, like who have they beaten? Lost tennis. They beat Kentucky when Kentucky was a 9. Oh, Kentucky's the most disappointing team in college
oh,
basketball. So they
oh,
beat Indiana when Indiana was ranked. Indiana's
oh,
not going to make the tournament anymore.
oh. Indiana might not even win a Big Ten tournament game.
Yeah. Um, Louisville. I don't know. I don't know. So that's my 6 seeds. Obviously, I have 3 of the ACC teams back to back to back because I think they're all the same practically. They're all interesting, but probably going to lose early on, in my opinion, including Miami. I haven't seen enough of Miami. I don't know why I'm glazing them so much. So
Okay.
that's all I got.
Going to the sevens. My top 7 is going to go to St. Mary's. I know you had them pretty high.
Adam was
Um,
a 4.
yeah. I really just I don't know. I just feel like St. Mary's is just a dangerous 7, man. They're overlooked, and I feel like this is probably the spot where they're going to be at. Good team, no doubt. Who are they? Are they playing Santa Clara tonight?
Yes, they are
Okay.
10:30. So
Oh my goodness, bro. Who's watching that at 10:30? Come on now.
I mean, it's a big game to be fair.
Yeah. But big game against Santa Clara. If they can win that one, they'll earn even more respect from me. But I still think they're a good team. I think that they can go on a run, upset a 2 seed, like if they play a UConn or a Houston. I definitely think that they could shock some people. So
Yeah.
St. Mary's there. My next 7 seed is going to go to BYU. BYU has impressed me the last couple of the last week or two. Got that win against Texas Tech. To me, I've watched for some reason I don't know why. I've watched a lot of BYU this season.
Same
Um,
here. Same
I've
here.
watched a lot of BYU. That game against Texas Tech, BYU was playing with some energy, bro. They were playing with something. They were playing with some fire within them. So if they can continue to do that, they're a dangerous team. Let us not forget that they have the best player in the country in AJ DeBonsa still, who will go number 1 in the draft. So BYU team to look out for, but at the same time, they're also a team to look out for that they're just going to lose and just absolutely disappoint everyone. So there's that. My next 7 seed might come as a little bit of a surprise to you, Jonah, but I have the Georgia Bulldogs. Now,
Wow.
Georgia
What?
continues to impress
What?
me, at least. Yeah, they're winning
Is
games,
Georgia
man.
that good?
I
I
think
thought
they're
Georgia was garbage.
no, they've been playing well, man. They've been playing well.
Oh, I guess, bro. But
22 and
like over
9,
TCU,
22 and 9.
over
Um,
TCU is insane.
they're just winning games. I'm really liking what they're doing.
I mean, anybody could beat Mississippi State. Let's be fair. Let's
They beat
let's be real.
Bama. Uh,
Bama's a
they
good win.
they beat Kentucky. They beat Texas.
I also see a loss of Vanderbilt.
That's true, but I did have Vanderbilt as a 5 seed, so they are below them. So I think Georgia's a really sleeper team, man. I think that they're a team to look out for in the SEC tournament. If I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong, and I won't pick them in March Madness. But I just want to be different here and pick Georgia over there. Um,
Okay.
My next 7 seed is going to go Villanova. They're just kind of there in the Big East, honestly. The 3 seed, they're probably going to get whooped by UConn in the semifinals. But they're third in the Big East, and the Big East is a solid conference. It always has been. They got a decent record. No real wins, but they're still probably going to just be there. So I have Nova as my last 7 seed.
All right. Kicking it off with my 7 seeds. Obviously, this is where it gets a lot different because all these teams have a lot of wins and losses. So there's a lot of bias, to say the least. So
Yeah.
kicking off with my first 7 seed, I'm going to say St. John's. Now, I think St. John's stinks. I'm gonna be honest, but they're 13 on the poll, so I got to give them credit for that. They obviously have Bryce Hopkins. They have that other dude who's one of the best big men in the game, but they have Rick Pitino coaching, and Rick Pitino hasn't been able to win big games as of lately. The only thing he knows how to do is lose to a 10 seed Arkansas or however low that Arkansas
Yeah.
team was. So
Yeah. 10 seed.
this team is not nearly as good as what it once was last year. And I mean, that loss to UConn showed a lot about this team. So they're going to lose in the first round. Chalk it. But
Okay.
I mean if they play USF, they're getting whooped by USF. So let's just say that. So moving on to my second 7 seed, I got to go with some Big 12 teams here. Now, I don't know which one to choose, but I'm going to go with TCU. I think TCU has been playing out of their minds lately. They've taken the bubble kind of personally, and they've officially taken themselves out of the bubble. I feel like they've been on the bubble since December. So
Yeah.
TCU has been on the bubble all year, but finally they're out of the bubble, and finally they're playing some great basketball and being consistent. I mean, they're obviously one of the most dangerous teams out there. They're probably going to be a 10 seed or 9 seed, but let's be real, they're better than a lot of these teams. I mean, they've proven to me that they are. I mean, beating Florida, you don't take that for granted, man. Florida's a great team. So, moving on to my third, 7th seed, it's BYU. Like you said, I've been really low on BYU at times. I've been really high on BYU at times, and I'm starting to think that they're good again. I just don't know what this team is. I change my mind on them about every single week, but like you said, I've obviously watched a decent amount of BYU too. I don't know why we both watch BYU so much,
They're just
but
on ESPN every freaking Tuesday.
probably because they have AJ DeBonza. But
Yeah, that's
this
probably it.
team is playing with a different type of energy, like you said. So
Yeah.
they just look different. They literally look different right now. I don't know why. I
It's a
couldn't tell you,
completely new
but
team, man.
they must have took the Richie Saunders ACL tear personally, I guess. But BYU is a good team, no doubt about it. So my last 7 seed, man,
What a
I don't
play
know
at
where to go.
shortstop by Bobby Witt. Holy
I
frick.
don't know. I don't know where to go with this last 7 seed, man. I obviously picked or discussed everybody on the poll except for Miami, Ohio, which we'll get to them. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Ohio State. Now,
Okay.
Ohio State, it's not even a hot take anymore. They're just everybody knows they're legit. Like they've been on the bubble similar to TCU. They've been on the bubble all year long. They've been fighting for positioning, and they've just been out of their minds lately. They're one of the hottest teams in college basketball. They put themselves ahead of Iowa in the Big 12 or the Big 10 standings, and they won their last 3 games. So they're really good. Honestly, they're not even underrated anymore. People know that they're going to go on a run in the tournament. At least I think so. Ohio State obviously is not guaranteed to win their first round game. They're going to be a 9. That's what the experts say. But I mean, Bruce Thornton, very good ball
Freaking
player.
stud.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. We love Bruce Thornton. Similar to
Yeah, we do.
Rondell Robinson, we love
Yeah.
Bruce Thornton. So
Bruce Thornton on the pod.
shout
Give
out
Shut
Wandale
up.
for getting the contract with Tennessee
Yeah.
though.
Shout out Wandale Robinson for getting paid today, bro.
I mean, Cam Ward's gonna need him, that's for sure,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, man. Freaking stud. Congrats, dog. Is that all for you for your sevens?
That's all my 7s, yeah.
Okay, moving on to my 8. My top 8 seed is going to go to TCU. TCU's playing great basketball right now. I just feel like an 8 or a 9 seed is where TCU wants to be. If I'm being honest. You
Yeah,
win a
totally.
game. You win a game. You'll play Arizona, Florida. That's not a bad
2
matchup.
teams you beat. Is that 2 teams?
Two,
Did they beat Arizona?
well, I don't know. I actually don't know. But in a conference, that's a familiar team. It's a familiar
Yep,
team.
totally.
TCU, team to look out for sure. My next 8 seed is going to go to the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are playing fantastic. You can count all their losses, whatever. They got Bruce Thornton. Bruce Thornton, kind of like Sam Hoiberg, the Huskers. He will not let this team lose. The Buckeyes are gonna make a run in the Big Ten tournament. Just watch. Just watch.
Mm,
They're gonna beat Iowa, and they're gonna have to play Michigan again. They're gonna win. They're gonna win all the games up to Michigan, and then we'll see what happens there. Bruce Thornton is an absolute stud. Ohio State is going to be an 8 seed, and Ohio State might pull off an upset. I'm just gonna say it now. Okay, Ohio State is a good team. My next 8 seed is going to go to the Kentucky Wildcats. They're obviously just kind of mid. Um, they need a good SEC tournament. I'll say that they need a good conference tournament if they want to get some respect here. Um, they'll win you some great games, but at the same time they'll just lose to like freaking South Carolina, Oklahoma, whatever.
that's fair.
It's just terrible. So Kentucky, they're a sleeper team in my opinion, but they're also not because they're just gonna lose you a random game. Like they could win, they could like just shellac whoever they play in the 8-9 game, and then just lose by 40 to like Michigan or whatever.
Yeah,
So they're just so unpredictable. I don't know what to expect from them. And then my last 8 seed might surprise you a little bit. UCLA. UCLA,
I
ever
don't
since
hate it.
that ever since that loss to Michigan State, they've absolutely locked in. I don't think they've lost since then. They're playing fantastic basketball right now. They just beat the brakes off Nebraska last week. They kicked the crap out of USC. So USC's falling apart. Holy smokes. But UCLA is a really underrated team. They got the skill. I saw somebody said they got the skill to go to the Final Four. That's kind of an interesting one, but
That's the dumbest thing I've
that's
heard.
an interesting one. Um,
This is
but
not 2021 UCLA.
yeah, yeah, I've that's all I've been seeing. They're comparing them to that team as well, and I just don't think that's going to happen. But I do think that this team can surprise some people and potentially make it to the second weekend. So uh, those are my 8 seeds.
Yeah. All right, kicking it off with my 8 seeds. I'm just gonna say it. There's gonna be a lot of SEC teams on here because SEC is gonna get like 12, 11 bids this year.
Yeah,
Hopefully Auburn doesn't get in, but
dude, dude, we will probably have to make a video just saying thank you to the committee for not putting freaking Auburn in here.
yeah.
Unless they win
Anyways,
the SEC, which is not going to happen, but you know.
no, absolutely not. Better odds of hitting the lottery than that. Anyways, kicking it off my 8 seeds. I'm gonna go with Iowa. Iowa, honestly, I don't know how they ended up losing to Nebraska because they had all the momentum, but they had a heck of a comeback to Nebraska. One of the best comebacks I've seen in this year in college basketball, and they honestly should have beaten them. But if they just knew how to play an extra 5 minutes of basketball, but I guess it's neither here nor there. So Iowa is a sleeper team. They proven that they are good. So I'm just gonna keep it at that. They're good, not great. So moving on to my second 8 seed. I'm just gonna start naming a bunch of SEC teams, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead. I don't even know who they're all in like the same tier, these SEC
Yeah.
teams. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and say Missouri. I think Missouri is the best of the second tier of the SEC. Obviously, they're going to be a 10 or 11 seed, but Missouri I only lost to Arkansas by 4 points. I get they
Yeah.
lost to Oklahoma, but Arkansas is a Final Four contender. Everybody knows Arkansas is legit, and Missouri has been just very good with a very tough schedule recently. I mean, they played Arkansas twice, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt all in the past month, and they've split. They won 2 of those games. So Missouri has Mark Mitchell. They have T.O. Barrett. They got a great coach too. Always forget the coach's name, but he's just a vibe, man. I like the coach, but Missouri is going to go crazy in the tournament. I think they're going to be the most deadly 11 seed out there. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I
Yeah.
think we can both agree that they're the most dangerous 11 seed. So moving on, since I have all these SEC teams, or since I'm naming them, I'm gonna start with Georgia here. Georgia is my third, seventh seed. They're probably gonna be a 8 or 7 seed IRL, or when the bracket comes out. They've been really hot. That's why I have Georgia so high. I couldn't tell you a player on Georgia. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I
lie.
mean,
I could tell you a lot more about Georgia Bulldogs football because they're just really good at
they're
football and always
they're
seem to
always in
stink
the
at
news.
basketball.
They're always in the news for car crashes as well.
Yeah,
Their
Jeremiah
football team.
Wilkinson though is their best player on the team. I mean, he's averaging 18 points a game, and like you said, I mean, if you're really hot, you're gonna rise in my rankings. So Georgia is probably gonna stay similar around the 7 or 8 seed come tournament time. They're really good. So moving on after that, it's kind of a toss up between Kentucky and Texas, two two teams that are neck and neck in the standings right now. But I'm gonna say Kentucky deserves the last spot. I'm just gonna say this: Kentucky was awful at the beginning of the season. I hated Kentucky. They did nothing. They literally did nothing to impress me. They only disappointed me, and I still think they're a disappointing team. But they should be a top 10 team in college basketball right now with Otega Ole. So, but they've turned it around, so I got to give them credit. I don't know where they're at in Ken Palm. I don't really care to look where they're at in Ken Palm, but I do know that they played Florida very tough, and Florida is a 1 seed. So if you can go neck and neck with a 1 seed, you can go neck and neck with about any team, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Kentucky has talent, but they're finally starting to use it. I guess. I mean, it's better late than never. So that's that.
Okay. Moving on to the 9 seeds here. My top 9 seed is going to go to Utah State. Um, just throwing them out here. They've been an interesting team, man. They started off really hot, lost a couple games, but they just got to win their conference because if they don't win that conference, not good things are going to come for them. You look at the conference tournaments that happened this weekend. The top seeds that were losing, shoot, what are they called? Well, Navy lost. That was one.
Yeah.
Um, you look at, oh shoot, who did Drake beat?
They beat
Yeah,
Belmont.
Belmont. Yeah, they beat
We
Belmont.
were high on
Yeah,
Belmont,
we were
man.
high on Belmont for some
That's
reason, and they just
embarrassing.
kicked the
That's
crap out of
embarrassing.
Belmont,
Is Drake
which is
still in the
hilarious.
tournament or what?
No, they got bounced. They lost
So
by
who's
like
winning that conference then?
um Northern Iowa won yesterday.
Interesting.
First bid there since 2016 when they hit that buzzer beater against Texas, the half
I
court one.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
that's the
that. Yeah.
first time they're back since then. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, Utah State's my top 9 seed. Moving on to the next one will be the Texas Longhorns. Texas been disappointing me as of recently, but they still have a really good offense. I think it's what ninth best in the country, something like that. They got a really good
Yeah.
offense. The only problem is their defense stinks. So I'm interested to see how the offense performs in the SEC tournament. If they don't perform well, we could easily see this team just flat out missing. But I don't think that's going to happen. Um, Moving on to the next 9 seed, I have Missouri. Missouri is a very dangerous team. Like Jonas said, they're probably just going to end up being an 11 seed, but this is where I think they should be right now. They're a dangerous team. Um, Nobody wants to play them right now. Look, they did play really bad against Oklahoma, um, but that's not the point. Okay, we're looking at their wins. They got some good wins, and they're a dangerous
Yeah.
team. Could go on a run here. Could go on a run here in the SEC tournament. So Missouri Tigers. After them, next up to end off my nines is going to be SMU. SMU is like the 11 seed in the ACC tournament. I said at the beginning of the video, they might be the only team that is playing tomorrow that actually has a chance at doing something in their conference tournaments. I think that's true. I still think that's a possibility. They're a good team. Um, not a team that's being looked at. But I still think that they're an underrated team that can shock some people.
Yeah. All right, kicking it off with my 9 seeds. No, I'm gonna start with UCLA. UCLA they changed my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. UCLA has probably one of the hottest teams in college basketball lately. They're playing up to their talent. Another team that should be like a top 10 team in the country right now, but they're playing fine. They're playing great basketball. They beat Nebraska and they beat USC twice. So, two interesting teams. Donovan Dent and Tyler Bilody. I don't know how, probably butchered his name, but two great players on the Bruins. So, their coach is on the hot seat too, I think, which is
Yeah,
interesting, I guess.
I
Moving
feel like
on
a
to my
year.
second 9 seed. It's the Villanova Wildcats. Now, where'd you have Villanova at? A 7?
I
A
had them
6?
as my last 7.
Yeah, Villanova is the most mid team in college
Yeah.
basketball. When I think of mid teams, I think of Villanova. They're okay. They win the games they need to, but they get beat by
They
the teams that are ahead of them. So they're just there. They're I don't think anybody
they
cares about them. I
exist.
don't think anybody watches Villanova basketball. I mean, the only reason why they're in discussion of the tournament is because the Big East is poop this year. So that's that. So that brings me to my third 9 seed, and it's the Texas Longhorns. Texas, I have them as a 9 seed strictly because of their offense. Their offense is lights out. It's amazing. They got Dylan Swain, or is he from Tennessee? No, he's from Texas. So great player. Tremont Mark. I feel like Tremont Mark's been in college for like 25 years now, but whatever. They're really good. They're going to break some people's brackets. They're probably going to be a 10 seed, maybe an 11 seed, but I still think they're a 9 seed in my book. So that brings me to my last 9 seed. Now, these teams are the teams that I can definitely see winning the first round. The teams
Yeah.
outside of the mid majors, which we'll talk about, I don't see any of these teams below them winning in the first round game as 10 or 11 seeds. So, in my opinion, at least. So that brings me to the Miami Redhawks. Now, Miami, I mean, I gotta love them because they're 31-0, which is the first time in like 10 to 15 years I think a team's gone undefeated in the regular season.
No,
Uh,
Gonzaga did it like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
yeah, that's still quite some time. So
Yeah, they lost to Baylor.
I mean, Miami. I mean, they're really good. I mean, they're better than what people think they are, in my opinion. Everybody thinks they're just another mid-major team. Like they're pretty good. They play in a tough mid-major conference. The MAC is very good. They beat the Ohio Bobcats twice. Ohio is a very good basketball team. They play UMass at 10 a.m. What? That's a weird time
Tomorrow?
for 3-12. One's 3-12.
Oh, that's in like
That's
3 days.
that's 3 days. So that's the oddest game or starting time I've seen. 10 a.m.
That's
I don't know
funny.
who I don't know who wants to play a basketball game at 10 a.m. But
I'll watch that game for sure.
whatever. So I mean, they're just really high because they haven't lost a game, and they're the only team in the poll that we haven't discussed. So good team.
Yeah.
I like the Red Hawks. I'm rooting for them in the tournament.
Yeah. 10 seeds now.
But yeah, 10 seeds.
Okay, my top number one 10 seed is going to go to Iowa. Iowa has lost 3 games in a row. Now, 2 of them were to Michigan and Nebraska, which they played both of them close. They lost by like a combined 10 points or something like that. So that's not bad at all. But the game that started their skid was losing to Penn State on the road, which is terrible. So Iowa has lost 3 games in a row. Um, One of the boys who's an Iowa fan heard that if they don't perform well in the Big Ten tournament, they might not even get in at all. Um, they're projected to
No,
play
I think they're
Maryland.
safe. I think they're safe.
They're projected to play Maryland, and they already lost to Maryland this year. So um, look out for that. Bennett Sturts played terribly yesterday against Nebraska. Didn't really do anything. So if Iowa wants to win some games, they got to get Sturts involved. He's top 15 pick in the draft most likely this year. So um, look out for that. My next 10 seed is going to go to Texas A&M. Um, I don't know why I still have Texas A&M, but I just do. Um, they're kind of again another team that's just kind of there, and they're another team that's better than Auburn. So another reason why Auburn should not be in this tournament. Um, so that's what I got for Texas A&M. My next 10 seed is going to go to UCF out of the Big 12. Underrated team for sure. I mean, they've lost some rough games, but they've also won some pretty good games too. So I feel like UCF has got some potential. They're giving off the vibes um, of upsetting some people, but that's what I got for that one. Now my last 10 seed is going to be Santa Clara. Um, I don't know what to expect from them. I guess they got a big game tonight at 10:30, um, which there's going to be a lot of people there watching it on TV. So
Hmm.
um, Santa Clara 10 seed, don't expect a ton from them, but whatever, anything's possible.
Yeah. All right, moving on to my 10 seeds. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my 10 seeds are quite a bit different than yours. So my first 10 seed has got to be VCU. I like VCU a lot. The Rams have been picking it
Yeah,
up.
they're
They're one of
good.
my favorite mid majors. They're gonna get an at-large bid more than likely. It's 50-50 if they do, but I still think they're gonna win their tournament easily. They beat Dayton twice, and they've just been on a roll. So that's all I got on VCU. So moving on, I got to pull this up here because there's not a lot of teams. I'm going to go ahead and say Akron is my next 10 seed. Now,
Okay.
Akron, I don't think they're going to get in the tournament unless they beat Miami, which will will be a topic of discussion if Miami gets in or not after that. But Akron has won how many games in a row? 7 games in a row. So Akron is one of the most fun teams in college basketball. They're a really fast paced team. They have a really fun offense. I don't know. The couple times I've seen Akron on TV, they haven't disappointed me. So I really like them. And so that brings me to my third 10 seed. Now I'm going to go to an ACC team and say the Clemson Tigers. Clemson, I have no idea. I haven't heard a single thing about Clemson in the past like month
Yeah, me
or
neither.
a couple weeks. Clemson, I completely forgot about them, not gonna lie. But they are fifth in their conference, so they're ahead of Louisville and NC State.
That's wild.
And they lost. I see a lot of red on their schedule, but they did beat Georgia Tech. So obviously fifth in the ACC. It's pretty decent, but they're obviously where they at in Ken Palm. Clemson. Let's see where Ken Palm or Clemson's at in Ken Palm. Clemson. 38 in Ken Palm. So I think we might be underrating Clemson, man. They're just they're there, but they're 38 in Ken Palm is still pretty good. So I think they deserve to be in the tournament for sure. I think they will be at least. So that brings me to my last 10 seed. It is going to be the Utah State. Utah State has the 25th best offense. They have the 63 best defense, and they're like 3 spots ahead of Clemson. So Clemson, Utah State, pretty similar teams, and Utah State kind of has fallen off. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard anything about them. I heard there was a lot of steam earlier in the year, but that's just the nature of it, I guess. So I don't know how Utah State's going to do in a tournament. They're going to be a 9 seed, maybe a 10 seed, but should be interesting to see how they perform.
Okay.
All right,
Brings us
last four
last
picks of
four
the video.
seeds, man. Last four picks of bracketology for the year, man. Sad.
Yep.
Whew. My top 11 seed is going to go to the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. Obviously undefeated. But I had them lower than what Jonah did because I just don't know why. I just have a nagging feeling that they're going to lose in their conference tournament. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I don't know
Yeah.
why. They've been playing way too close, and you can't play that close every single day. So I just feel like they're bound to lose in the conference tournament. Do I still believe they should receive an at large? Absolutely. They should not have to win their tournament to get in to March Madness because they went undefeated. Nobody else has done that this year. So the fact that they're a bubble team is absolutely absurd to me, but they should be in no matter what. My next team is going to be Clemson. Like you said, haven't heard much about Clemson, but the Ken Palm rating is pretty solid. So look out for Clemson, I guess. Whatever you want, if you want to say that, I guess, but whatever. My next 11 seed is going to be USF. USF, me and Jonah have been talking about USF, and they're a dangerous team. Um, I mean, you look at the 6 seeds that we both had, and any of these teams can lose to this USF team, which is playing
Yeah.
really good right now. So USF is hot, and they're playing really well. For my last team of the video and for bracketology this season, I have the VCU Rams. They're playing really hot. They're playing really really good. Um, I expect them to win the conference, like you said, Jonah. And to me, this might be my Cinderella team this year. VCU might be the Cinderella team for me this year. So
Yeah,
that's all I
totally
got.
agree. All right, to kick it off with the last 4 picks of bracketology, we're gonna have to do this next year. But
Yeah,
sad it comes to an end, but we'll be making better content because we'll actually be predicting the games next week. So
it's gonna be
look
busy.
forward to that. We're probably gonna be filming. I'd say a region a day. So at least in my opinion, because there's 8 games each. So we'll see on that though. We'll discuss that. But my first 11 seed is Texas A&M. I'm only putting them in today's video because they had such a good start to the season. That's literally it. Texas A&M. I think they're still in the tournament. I'm not quite so certain now,
I'm
but
pretty sure they are. Yes, but they're
they're been the coolest team in college basketball over the last 2 months. So they're in the tournament, and they're the highest in KenPom that I haven't mentioned. They're 34 in KenPom. So I mean, I got to give a shout out to them because 34 and KenPom deserves to make today's video, but not looking too good for them. I'll just say that. And so moving on to my second 11 seed, and let me see here. So this is where it really drops off. I'm going to say the USF Bulls. USF is very good. They're underrated. They're a fun team to watch, and I don't. Then they might have lost a game or two lately because I don't I don't see them being projected as high anymore in bracketology videos, but USF is the team, the mid major to look out for that people don't know about. Like obviously we know about Gonzaga, we know about like Utah State, but USF nobody knows about them. So I'm just gonna say that. So that brings me to my second to last team that's gonna get a mention in today's video, Santa Clara. Santa Clara has been the third best team in WCC. WCC is the sixth or probably the fifth best conference in college basketball, behind the Big East and the 3 power conferences. But I don't know. I don't really know much about Santa Clara. I do know they're 24 in offense. They have a 73 defense in KenPom, so 37th overall. So I mean, I like them a lot. I think they could win a game, maybe make the Sweet 16, but I just haven't seen them on TV yet. I don't know. They just must not get any TV time. So
yeah,
I'm certainly not watching them at 10:30. That's for sure. So
definitely not.
moving on to my last team of the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the UCF Knights make it on today's video. UCF is 53 in KenPom, but they have the wins. So they beat Iowa State. They beat BYU. They beat BYU by like 25. That was probably the most surprising game of the year, in my opinion. Was or UCF beating BYU by like 25 plus. That was, I don't know, but they beat Kansas too, I think. So they have a lot of good wins. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm putting them here. They obviously have a top 31 offense, but their defense is disgusting. So a couple of teams that I'm just going to say are left out in today's video that are in a lot of people's videos, but or in a lot of people's brackets, I feel like, but aren't any good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say SMU is not in today's video. I really think SMU has played themselves out of the tournament. They're a bubble team officially, and they've been playing really bad basketball. Let me pull up their schedule. Let me see. SMU. Let's see what SMU's been doing. Probably not a lot. Shoot, bro. Hold on. Duke. So they're behind Stanford and California in their
Oof,
conference.
D.
So SMU
Guess
has
I must
lost
have
their
just been
last 4
glazing
games in a
SMU
row.
crazy, bro.
They lost their last 4 games in a row. So SMU is the coldest team in college basketball tournament wise, and man, they're not any good. So I'm just gonna say that. So that brings me to my second team, and this is a team that is like 32 in KenPom, but a team that is garbage in my opinion. It's NC State Wolfpack. You
Yeah,
probably
I didn't
forgot
have
about
him
them,
either.
but
No, I was like, do I want to put him in there? I'm like, nah, not really.
yeah, they lost their last four too, and they lost to Notre Dame, which we discussed the loss of
Oh,
Notre Dame last
guy.
week.
That's embarrassing.
That's probably one of the most embarrassing losses I've seen, and they lost to Stanford. So I don't know what I have against losing to Stanford, but I guess Stanford. If you lose to Stanford, you're a terrible basketball team. So that's that.
Apparently.
And my last team that I want to mention is Indiana, the Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh,
Indiana
guy.
is projected to be the last team in, according to
What a
Bracketology.
joke.
But we both know Indiana is only good at football. They are not good at basketball.
Who would have
Indiana,
thought?
I didn't even think they were going to be great at football. I thought they were going to be good, but not great. So Indiana is below is below Iowa in the tournament. I mean, they've lost how many games in a row? They've lost their last 4 out of 5. They did beat Minnesota by 30, so Minnesota's
Ooh.
not a great Big Ten team, but lost to Ohio State, Michigan State, Purdue, Illinois, and USC in that stretch. So Indiana's going to be a team that I'm going to get really mad if they get in the tournament.
Yeah.
If it's between them and Auburn, fine, they can have the spot. But
Yeah.
if it's any other team besides Auburn, I'm picking them over Indiana. So, you got anything else today or to say, or should we close it out?
All I gotta say is if Auburn makes the tournament, we riot. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I
That's
totally
that's
agree.
an absolute joke if they make the tournament. I don't care if
If
they make it
they,
to the SEC championship. I don't care. They should not
I
be
mean,
in.
even oh, how about this? If they make it over Miami, Ohio, then we really have a problem, bro.
We will personally send a message to who the NCAA. So
Yeah, we'll both send an email to the athletic director in the NCAA. You'll watch us do it live on video too. So
yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it
that'll
live.
be a video. That'll be a video. For you guys if Auburn makes it over Miami, Ohio. So maybe look for that one. I don't know, but
Who knows?
that wraps up today's video. Pretty successful one, I'd say.
Yeah, we got an hour
But
20.
we got an hour 20, and we're getting a lot of content out this week. We kind of took a break last week because this week and next week, I mean, it's probably going to be the most content in quite some time. We got our NFL free agency tomorrow. We're
Oof, oof,
probably
yeah.
going to make a part 2 because there's just a lot going on in NFL. We're going to predict the Big 12, maybe, I don't know, but we'll predict conference tournaments, the ones that haven't happened. And then next week, I don't even got to say what it is next week, but
You already know what next week is, guys. You already know.
we'll be making a video on the first 4. I mean, if you want to, and we'll make a video on each and every region, breaking it down. So we might get up to 10. We might get up to 10 hours of time combined
Sweet
with
frick,
all the
dude.
videos. So
Yeah, we
every
might.
single day next week, we'll probably be live. Let's just say that. Let's just say that every single day next week.
Chat said, "Do we make UConn a 4 seed?" I had them as a 2. Did you have them as a 4?
I did. I had UConn
Yeah.
as a 4. I don't
Yeah.
like UConn.
Yeah.
That loss to Marquette is pathetic. Like, they don't have Cam Jones anymore for Marquette, so
Yeah.
I think we gotta send an email to the athletic director of the NCAA too, and ask for UConn to
They
not be
drop
delayed
down.
so much. Yeah, to drop down to a 4.
Well,
So
they'll just get embarrassed on national TV as a 2 seed probably. So
that's fair. Or they'll lose to Marquette again, or some other
yeah, they'll
garbage
probably
team.
just lose in the conference tournament.
Yeah, but mark my words though, if they play TCU, TCU's beating them by 20. So
Okay. Okay.
you heard it here first.
Okay. We're gonna remember that. We're gonna remember that.
It's probably going to be TCU's probably going to be a 10 seed. UConn's probably going to be a 2 seed. So if it's TCU and UConn in the second round, which there's probably like a 20% chance of happening, at least TCU is beating them by 20. So you heard it here first. So
Okay.
you got anything?
I don't, man. It's gonna be a busy week next week.
It's going to be a busy
We
week.
might
So
just have to do final four or first four on Sunday after the
on
brackets come
Sunday,
out
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's gonna be a hectic week, man. It's probably
yeah,
gonna be the busiest week ever.
yeah. But that wraps up today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this series. I had a fun time. College
Yeah.
basketball is probably my favorite time filming so far, at least. But yeah, sit back and watch all these conference games go on, and we will see you tomorrow for NFL free agency. We're gonna take a break from college basketball for a
Yeah.
video. So peace out.